Obama. What's up? Cool as ever, I see. I was just reading some Paradise Lost. It's a pretty good read so far, you know. Cool Satan. It's kind of good to know where the trope came from. It's still a little weird. I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but I'm kind of most of the way through, so I've got to power on till the end. So, what brings you here? I know, you just want to hang out with your favorite bisexual. Yeah. Oh. You want to talk more about Foucault? Yeah. I figured. What class do you even take for him? You don't? Well, it's a bit strange that you want to look into that just for your free time, but I guess I do as well, so. Oh, you're getting started on it? Don't even worry. Well, I guess there's a lot to read. But you don't have to read everything to like get the gist of somebody. Different people will say different things about that though. It's like you haven't really understood until you read the complete works, but I don't know. I think reading the back covers of some stuff that you really can't get through is fine. But I'm a bit of a cheater in that sort of the way. No others. Don't. I know what you were thinking. Don't. No! I don't even date. I can't cheat if I don't date. Come on, Obama. Don't play with me. Thinking you can change that up. Bit of a flirt over there. So before I get started on like anybody I want to like read or anything like that, when I really get into them, I like to know a bit about them and the time that they were in. So what do you know? Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, he was gay and he was French. You know, gotta love the gay Frenchman, right? And of course it was like the modern, postmodern period, I guess. I really kind of am not a big fan of like modern and post-modernity. When are those things ever gonna stop? We kind of, when you try and put like today in history, it kind of messes up. That's a great thing about Foucault, that looking at history and applying it today into certain things, looking at how we've progressed, where like, I guess you can't really track where everything started, but you can see the roots of things, go really, really deep, and then go, what have we built on to get there? So he does that with like the prison system, of course, that's what he's like really well known for, but also on psychiatry and doctors in general, and just the way that we look at ourselves in relation to the body, in relation to systems. It kind of reminds me a lot of like psychology work with like family systems, and like everything relates on each other, but of course it's with people and that. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at explaining it. One of the big things with Foucault, of course, prison systems. So he kind of looked at, back in the day, what used to happen was there used to be public punishings. So I remember in like the Hammurabi Code, you do blank, you get your hand chopped off. Yeah, you do other thing, you get killed. If you do this, then this. I think it was like slap your father, and that's the hand you get chopped off. So people were probably very calm in the domestic sphere, unless you were the father, of course, in which batter away, but it's a better time now, hopefully, but I'm not sure if it is over there. Oil still having fought over and all, but so with Foucault, you know, it used to be back in ye olden era, even in like Rome, you know, you'd whip them across the streets, or you'd like, I'm trying to think of like old punishments. Do you know any? Know a lot about that, don't you, Barack? Okay. I know, I'm just teasing you. It's fine. I just forget about things kind of easy. My mind goes crazy, but... So, with those punishments that would happen, it was a public thing. Public execution was the thing. You get lynched, everyone sees it happen. You get whipped across the streets, everyone sees. And the idea was that there is some compassion for the criminals when you have to see how terrible it was, you know? Even when it wasn't a criminal, with certain acts, like back in the American Revolution, you'd like pour hot tar on someone and feather them just because they were going to take your taxes. Which, I know how you feel about that. But, agree to disagree. Okay, you know I'm kidding. I'm always kidding. Well, I guess unless I'm not kidding, but you always know how to make me laugh. Okay. I'm sorry, I get so off track with you. I really, really do. I know that you're like a brilliant speaker, so it's kind of funny that you spend so much time listening to me. But Foucault. Okay. But again, we're going back to Foucault here. So you looked at that public execution, you had some sort of, oh, that would actually be terrible. And you start to sympathize with the criminals and you get to see what happens there. But in our modern system, we just lock them away, out of sight, out of mind, which I guess has benefits, I guess. But the real thing is with it, he was arguing against our prison system, saying that if it's out of sight, out of mind, the state and the power of the people who get to lock them away, they get to decide what is punished for what, how it's done, and we can't look at it anymore. We don't have the same visibility as before. And of course, with the amount of people now, it'd be really hard to, so many acts of crime are committed all the time, so if we did do all the public stuff, it'd be like, okay, square over here, we've got corner number one, criminal one, he committed federal larceny. Sorry. Is that even a crime? Federal larceny? Is that? We're gonna pretend like it's a thing, okay? Like, we can look at it later, but federal larceny over here. And we get to see him getting beat up by a group of people because that's what the state says, I guess. And then you'd have over here and over here. So I do get sort of, it's impractical to do that. But at the same time, with the lack of visibility, how we don't have knowledge about it at all times, we don't see it out of sight, out of mind, that leads to a lot of injustices. Because the people in power who tend to come from power, wealthier people who benefit from the system, they get to decide how people are punished and what they're punished for. Like, tax evasion, you may or you may not get punished for that. I mean, people do it all the time and no one ever talks about it. Well, people talk about it, but typically they agree, oh, well, you shouldn't have to go to jail for it. I mean, it's just tax evasion. Just when you get audited, pay your taxes or like go to jail for a year. Meanwhile, someone who was just trying to like feed their family, so they stole from a grocery store, they have to serve years and years. It's stuff like that, you know? Like, I guess motives in crimes definitely go together, but I don't get why certain things are, well, I know why, but I don't necessarily agree with them. What about you? What do you think about that? Got your little Foucault thinking about it. Okay. Well, certainly a take on it. I know, Barack. I'm not a poli-sci major, so it's not my thing. Don't you want to go to law school? You're gonna learn all about it. I think it's a great place for you. I think you can do really well as a lawyer. You want to go into politics? Interesting. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's a hard way up there, but yeah, I don't know. If you're gutsy enough, perhaps. Could happen. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like I don't believe in you. It's just, I know it's a hard road. Yeah. Oh, you want to hear more about Foucault? Okay. I guess maybe it'll help you with your political career. You can tell the masses about it. Maybe you can fix the prison system. I'd love to see that happen, but you might not. I know politicians aren't really focused on it right now. But everything has its time. We focused on it a lot back in, oh my gosh, like the first wave, not even like the 20s wave where we got the right to vote, but like the first wave in like the 1840s or 50s or something, when we were focused on like, hey, maybe we should get feminism and abolitionism, and prison reform was a big part of that. Well, maybe not a big part, it tends to get forgotten now, but that's because we haven't had all of it. There's small goals in prison reform, always. Very small little things that get further and further, so maybe one day we'll have something strong enough and we'll be happy with it, but let's be honest, we're human. We're never gonna be happy with it, but we can find new ways to make it better. Isn't that what it's all about? Okay, so I feel like I kind of went over the prison stuff with Foucault, because I don't want to get too much into detail, because I can't express it in the same words as he does. It doesn't sound as good coming out of my mouth. How about with doctors? He has a very similar philosophy across the board. Basically, I'm gonna look back, because I think he got it from like Nietzsche. He like looked at one of Nietzsche's things about history to today, and he was like, whoa. Like I don't like Nietzsche, but I guess he's done some decent stuff for the world. I just don't think he was very smart about human sensuality. I think perverts have too much on their minds, but yeah, so psychiatry and doctors and that whole medical field, according to Foucault, he looked back at like the Renaissance, and then he looked at modern times, and he thought, because he was gay, that was a big thing of why he like spent time in mental hospitals. Also, he tried to kill himself, so that must have been a wild ride. But like being stifled and stuff like that, he went, no, people who are mentally ill or have certain things, they were actually better in the Renaissance because their part in society was to be an outward part of it. But being out of the society still means you have a place in it. I know it sounds totally weird, but it makes sense. Let's think about it in a classroom, you know? When students have to work together or something and the teacher's looking over it, they're not part of the student group. They don't understand what it is to be in the student's positions right there. But the students still need the teacher to proctor them in this certain thing. Like in a Socratic circle, you need to keep in all the thoughts and make sure they're still in the right place and it doesn't wander off and the students just start rambling and having a good time about it. You have to really get into it. So even though that teacher is out of the system, they're still a part of the system, and that the students are trying to keep the teacher out of it by keeping to themselves, focusing on it, and then reaching the ultimate goal. So it's kind of like that. You were an out group, but that out group was still a part of the group. It's just you kind of sway in and sway out of like how much you want to be involved in things and what parts of society, because you can never be fully integrated. because you have those things, but you are still a part of it. So what he saw, sorry, my lisp, but what he saw was that in that time, if you were mentally ill, they would just throw you into a mental hospital. You don't have a part in society. They have doctors looking over you, trying to make sure you're okay, working with you, but the goal isn't to recognize that you have a certain thing and keep going anyways and be a part of society. It's to keep you from society until you can enmesh yourself in it and make it seem like you should be there. And I do kind of get that. Like, why would you, with certain things you really can't help it. You know, if you're bipolar, you're bipolar. And that's bad, but that doesn't mean, well, I guess it's not bad, but like, it's hard for you, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know anyone who enjoys mental illness, but certain things shouldn't be classified as mental illness, in my opinion anyways. You know, the DSM. I swear, how many you're at right now? Probably not enough. But with mental illnesses, some things definitely do need to be looked at closely, and mental hospitals can really help if you have a moment of distress, or like if you have an eating disorder. Like, you need help for that. You need intensive care. You need to be looked at and to not have that question of, oh my gosh, are they gonna die because they won't eat, you know? But at the same time, it's also good to let people who can still go into society, who just have something a little different, go out there. Maybe you have like ADHD, like, sure, you can't focus as easily, but that doesn't mean that you don't need a better part. I mean, typically they're not the ones going to mental hospitals, but as a side effect of never being able to fully have certain societal privileges and things not being able for them to participate in, it can cause enough stress that they have to go there. You know, just that sort of thing. And I think one of his other big things is like doctors and looking at the human body. Like, we're a person, not just the body. Doctors look at us and all they see is an assembly of organs. Give me your organs. Sorry, Barack. Yeah. Oh, you've got class to go to? Lame! No, go to class, really, but it was nice talking to you about Foucault for a bit, yeah. Alright, maybe you should come over again sometime. It was fun talking to you. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. It's good that you listen to me and you like some of the stuff. I really appreciated, like, going through, like, The Lighthouse with you with Virginia Woolf. Oh, it was so nice. Because it's, like, about her family and all like that, but I can't believe, like, I didn't figure that out. I really should have read, like, not the back cover, because I read the back cover, but the inside of that. I'm so careless sometimes. I wish there was something where we could just, like, easily search it up instead of having to carry, like, encyclopedias or whatever. Maybe one day, right? You heard about computers getting better? I have faith in them. Just like I have faith in you. Oh, you're making me blush. Get out of here.